there was one preparation day where we were able to go to the temple. I was serving in Moscow at the time, and the temple was about 2 hours away from Moscow. And so it was a whole day trip. And we also scheduled our temple session to be with 2 other sisters that we were really good friends with, that I had served with in my previous area. And so we went to the temple, and then we were going out to lunch, and we were going to lunch in Spokane, and it was super busy, like super busy, cars everywhere, one-way streets, like it was crazy. And we were having a hard time finding parking because we wanted to parallel park, and because then we wouldn't have to pay a super huge amount of money just to go eat lunch. And there was this one spot that we saw, and so we were driving up to it, and one of us had to get out of the car so we could back the car in to be safe, so that way we didn't hit any other cars. So I got out of the car, and I was standing on the sidewalk, like waiting for them to come park, and the car right in front of them started pulling into the spot. And so we're just like, oh no, what do we do? Because I was out of the car and they had to keep driving. Like there was traffic behind us. It was a green light. Like there was no way. And they had to drive. And so I was just running. I felt like I was in a movie. I was just running in downtown Spokane. Like people were next to me, probably just like, who is this crazy girl, like running down the street? And my friend, the other sister who was driving the car, she rolled down her window and she's like, what did I do? Like, I don't know. And we're just like, I don't know. And finally, like there was a kind of a break in the traffic. And so I just like ran and jumped in the car, and oh man, it was crazy, but it was so funny. I remember that day. I remember what I was wearing. I remember like I can see like myself running. Like I can see the vision of the people around me and passing them and just like booking it down the street. Oh, that was so fun. That was so fun. I loved it. When I was serving in Moscow, my companion that I had there, we were companions the whole time. So the full 6 months we were companions. And she and I were really close. And I was going through a lot of personal challenges for the last half of my mission, just a lot of health things and just a lot. And it was really hard to handle. I really felt forgotten by the Lord sometimes. And I would often ask, like, do you see that I'm trying to do everything that you've asked me to do? I'm serving, I'm talking to everybody, I serve my companion, I love the members, I'm trying everything I know how to do, and yet I just feel so alone and so lost. And there was one night when I was praying. I like to pray out loud, and so I go into the bathroom and I turn on the fan so that way I could pray out loud and no one would hear me. And I was praying and just telling Heavenly Father about how I felt. And I just said, I need to know that someone loves me and that someone cares and that someone sees my efforts. And I closed my prayer and I go into my bedroom, and my companion, she had already finished praying, and so she was in bed. But as soon as I walked through the door, she jumped out of bed and she threw her arms around me and she said, Sister Reed, I love you so much. And it was, I don't think I've ever had an answer to a prayer come so immediately. Just within 30 seconds, the Spirit prompted her to say exactly what I had asked for. And it's not that I doubted her love before, because I knew she loved me, but I needed to hear it. And the Spirit filled my heart and let me know that the Lord was aware of me. So that was really, really special. There was one day where it was so cold, and it was a biking day. And we had all of these appointments set up. Like, we were so excited. Like, every single hour we had a lesson. And we were just like, we're ready. We were ready to go. So we walk out the door, and it was 17 degrees still, but there was really bad fog in Lewiston, like frost. And so like it would get all over you. Like the frost, you could see it on your face. It would attach to your clothes. So that made it colder, and there was a wind chill. So I don't know how cold it was with all of those things, but it was freezing. And we were biking to our first appointment, and they weren't there. And we're like, that's okay. We'll just try these people. And no one was home. And our noses were completely numb, like our toes were numb, our hands were numb, like we couldn't feel anything. But I don't remember being so happy before, like ever. I mean, just being with her, I was always happy. She and I were always happy together. But I felt like Heavenly Father gave us the greatest gift of happiness because we were doing our best. Every single appointment that day fell through. We didn't teach like anybody. And so we were outside like the whole day in that weather, biking, trying to talk to people, and no one was outside because it was freezing. But we were so happy. And I know that that was a blessing from the Lord, that He knew how our day was going to go. And He knew it was going to be hard, but He made it one of the greatest days of my whole mission. There was one time she and I were riding our bikes, and we had like just left the house like after dinner or something, and we were biking to someone's house for an appointment, and it just started hailing. Like the hail was just pouring, and we couldn't bike. Like every time we would try to go, like we would slip and fall off. And so we were just like standing there on the street, and we said a prayer, and we were like, Heavenly Father, like what do we do? Like we need to get to our appointment, but we don't know, like we're on these bikes. And the Spirit gave us a name of a member in the ward. The Spirit put a name into our minds, and we called her, and she was able to come and pick us up and take us to the appointment. But it was just so bizarre. It was like, it was a clear day, and then all of a sudden it just started hailing. And so it was fun. Be converted to the Lord before you leave. Gain a testimony early on, as early as you can. Come to know for yourself that the Book of Mormon is true, that Heavenly Father is real, and that Jesus Christ loves you. Those things need to happen before you can be converted. And I mean, conversion is a lifetime process, but there's start the process early. So gain a testimony, and then live the gospel. Go to seminary, go to church, read the scriptures, pray every day. Take the sacrament meaningfully, really ponder what it means in your life. Serve those around you. Try to develop Christ-like attributes. I think just striving for conversion, not saying, oh, I'm so excited for my mission because then I'll finally study the scriptures every day. It's like, that's not how it works. Think about the knowledge you can gain on your mission if you already have a basic knowledge. The Lord can just expand on what you already know. So that would be the biggest advice for missionary preparation that I would give, is to convert yourself to the Lord early. A huge part of adjusting back to normal life for me was realizing that I did my best on my mission, and my best varied. Some days it was very little. Some days I was able to give a lot. But I did my best, and the atonement made up for everything else. And I think constantly dwelling on your mission and wondering, just like, oh, should I have done better at this? Or, oh, if I had talked to this one person, then maybe things would be different. It's like, it's over. It's done. You can't go back and change it. But the atonement covers that. And so I think just moving on with your life, realizing that you have a purpose here now too, helps you get over not being a missionary anymore.